What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Entre Mike with an Entre is short for entrepreneur. This is a non-CDL trucking channel geared to help you guys learn about the industry. Like, comment, and subscribe. Yo. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Entre Mike back with another video. And I'm finally making this video because I don't have a course on how to start a trucking business, but I wish I had one for free when I was starting in this game because it's expensive. You guys are gonna have to exhaust a lot of capital into a lot of things when you're entering any new business. But for trucking specifically, it's not worth your time or money to spend. I've seen courses for anywhere from $400 to $1,000. There's seminars for thousands of dollars, and all of it, y'all, honestly, it's the same basic information. If you want to skip through me rambling, you can. My name is Entre Mike with an Entre short for entrepreneur. I make trucking informational videos to help other people start their business. Probably about 9 months ago, I started YouTubing and I made my first video, and it was the first one to blow up on how to start a box truck business. This is basically part 2. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is to find out if this is for you. Make sure you want to be a business owner and not just make money, because a lot of flawed information is out there to make you think you can make all this money when at the end, if you don't know what you're doing, you can end up going out of business. Start making connections and learning how to market, communicate with others. So my examples, probably as simple as having like simple business cards or cold calling brokers to see how often they got freight moving in a particular lane out of a particular distribution center. I feel like you should kind of know where your work is going to come from before you start this business. If you don't, you're just going to be a lost guinea pig. So make sure you don't exhaust all of your savings into this business you don't have enough skin in the game with. And that's even with somebody like me too. I put a lot of money into this business without knowing how to, hot shot business, right? I bought all this fancy equipment, and when I got out there on my first load, I had problems with securement. Some of my first loads, I can show you guys pictures. I didn't secure them the same way I would now 2 months later. Also, do even more research than taking this course. Learn more about trucking. There's more than just box trucks. So when I made this is more so about when I'm really referring to box trucks, because I feel like when you're in a box truck, you only think about box trucks. I don't know why it seemed like that community is the only community that don't want to grow outside of box trucks, but there is so much more than box trucks in transportation. So don't limit yourself in this business. Because honestly, dry vans are probably the less paid. I can show you guys that actually. So I'm on DAT trend lines, and if you guys don't know what a dry box is, it's basically a dry van. It's a 26 feet dry van trailer. That's what they're going to call it. That's what they're going to refer to it as. So when you see these rates all hovering around anywhere from $250 to what you got, basically $3 a mile, maybe $3.20 a mile, you got to think when brokers are negotiating rates against you, if it's a full truckload for your LTL partial, less than a truckload partial, or partial volume truckload. I'll get into what all of that means in the dispatching part. They're going to lowball you. So even in the Midwest, where this is where you're mainly going to move for $2 a mile, for dry vans, they're going to say, oh, well, I usually move a full truckload for $3 a mile. So why would I give you $2 a mile if you're half the rate? Not even half the weight, but half the weight, half the rate, half the size, half the rate. That's how they're gonna negotiate with you. So keep this in mind. But I'm doing hot shot with a 36-foot deck, 31-foot deck and a 5 extra feet of deck space with my ramp. So I got 36 feet instead of 26 feet, and I'm also getting a bigger chunk of that rate when they try to negotiate. So a lot of full truckloads for hot shots don't move under $2. If they do, I'll say they're more so desperate, but it don't mean that we can't make it more profitable with $1.80, $1.90 due to the fact that we burn less fuel than a box truck. Then you got reefer game. This one is, I think, slept on, but it's just something we really don't know too much about at the time. And like you can see for all three of these regions, all three of these markets, the Midwest seems to be the best for all three of them. I'm just giving you guys basic information though. This is basic research that you guys should be doing before, but I'm tired of the narrative that you have to pay for information that's free because, like I said, I couldn't afford to buy a course for $500 if I was already getting into an expensive game. It just doesn't make sense. We can get into the load board a little later. It's a Sunday. Okay. So that was this is more than just box trucks part. Find out if you'll be driving or if you'll be a solid investor. I think this is where a lot of people get confused in trucking. They think when you get into trucking, you have to be a driver, and that's just simply not true. But if you decide to be a driver, looking to driver qualifications, looking to having a clean NVR, looking to having good credit so you can get the best down payment possible for truck insurance. I've had some agents quote me when I was starting my hot shot business around $2,100. Then I found Daniel. If you guys want Daniel's information, he has his own independent agency, Charles Stream. It's in the description. He got me down to $1,200 a month. I'm not saying it's going to happen for everybody. I'm just happy it happened in my particular situation. And that's with me being, well, by the time you guys are watching this video in the future, I'll probably be 23. But at the time right now, I'm a 22-year-old owner operator. So these are all like the basic steps that everybody's going to run you. And it's really like this slide right here is probably what's going to take most of your time to do. And this is basically, if you guys screenshot this, if you're starting a box truck business, this is probably mostly all of what you'll need besides like the guidance and experience and connections. That's about it. But you can't really pay for those type of things, in my opinion. You're just going to have to get some skin in the game, and it'll come when it needs to. So first you obtain your LLC. I used ink file for all three of the businesses that I have started. Simple. So you don't have to even log in. You can just start my business. Entity type. You're going to create an LLC. Then create, choose your state you're from. And this is where you start your LLC. The only difference with these two right here, I wouldn't buy this one. But the only two differences with these are that this one right here is expedited. So you'll have your business started in the first 5 days. For this one, I think it takes up to a month. Don't quote me on it, but I believe it takes up to a month. But this right here includes expedited filing. Don't pay attention to all the other stuff. All you're going to need is an operating agreement if you got partners in the business. Your IRS form. You're going to need your EIN. That's your social security for your business. But we'll speak on all the smaller steps when I get back to it. So already right now, you're knocking out your first two, applying for your EIN. That's kind of like the social security for your business, and obtaining your LLC. You can kind of combine them together. If you do something like ink file, I say just go ahead and take the premium package, get the expedited filing, start your business as soon as possible. If you're looking into really getting into this business, nothing else is going to help you besides getting out there and starting your LLC and feeling like you started something. Now, of course, you haven't generated any revenue, but that thought process in your mind that you have a business is what's going to enable you to take the next steps. Just start your business. If you're really serious about it, if you're not, keep doing research, keep saving up, keep stacking up. Transportation ain't going nowhere anytime soon. Nowhere anytime soon, unless they can figure out how to teleport this into your closet without moving it on freight to get distributed, freight ain't going nowhere. Now you want to open a business bank account, obtain, and this is when your LLC is finished. You want to obtain a business bank account. You're gonna have to use your EIN number for this. Obtain a business credit card. Capital One is easy to get. Capital One is probably one of the only people who will actually give you one. I may be wrong on that, but that's just my opinion. Now it's going to be a high interest rate, but you're a completely new business using a very, it's a high risk. Just put it at that. If your credit is good enough, apply for a business loan to leverage your capital. By the way, for most of this stuff that's in this video, just check the description. If you need help with anything else, I'll either label the steps or put places where you can get like free 30 days to DAT load board, where you can get my factoring and fuel card information, no charge, of course. I forgot what all is in my description, but it's a lot of stuff. My website where you can apply to brokers. Yeah, I'll probably have some more exciting things in there soon, but I can't think off the top of my head. But after you open that business bank account, and that costs, it's nothing but $100 deposit. It's still your money, but you have to have, I think, at least that $100 deposit in to keep it open. So yeah, those are the first steps. And these steps usually take anywhere from 5 to 10 business days, honestly. So that doesn't take long to do. Just get it done, get the expedited filing once you get your EIN number and your information from the Secretary of State. Take it to the bank, open up your business bank account, and then you're on to the next step. So this is when you need to figure out what truck you're going to rent, finance, or buy for cash. So in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I wouldn't rent in this market right now because it's just so expensive. It seems like everybody's trying to start a trucking business. Maybe because of influencers like me. I don't think I'm that big of an influencer. But at this point, I'm just trying to help the honest people who really trying to get out here and make a difference for them, make a difference for themselves. But yeah, so figure out if you're going to rent, finance, or buy cash. I think finance, and even if you have capital, it's going to be the best bet too, because you're building business credit while also having the money to save your own butt at the end of the day. So, but I wouldn't finance with no capital at all, if that makes sense. So it depends. If you can find a good rental rate, go that route. I don't have anyone who can help you with renting. Get commercial financing, depending on how you might have to have good credit in order to do it. But just check the links down below. I may have somebody else who's able to finance you. Just like I said, check the links down below. And if you're buying for cash, check places like Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. Check in states where you wouldn't think a box truck would be. And that's probably where you're going to end up having to find your box truck, because where the box truck is in high demand, of course, you're not going to find any for rental or for sale because they're all gone. They're all gone. Then you want to start your MC authority. This allows commercial vehicles to travel interstate. And honestly, it's cut and dry like that. So DOT numbers are usually used to travel in state. So if you got a lawn care service and your gross vehicle weight just happens to be over 10,000, I think you have to actually apply for a DOT number. But if you're going to drive commercially, no matter how much I want to say that, and you weigh over 10,000 pounds, which with a box truck, you're going to weigh at least about 15 to 18,000 pounds empty, you have to have an MC authority. If you don't, you'll be in big trouble, basically. So start your MC authority. It's $300. You're going to go through what's called a 21 vetting day process. And that 21 days is going to be like the longest 21 days for you when you're ready. But that's supposed to be the time where you're putting in most of your efforts to, make sure everything's right with your business bank account. Maybe try some transfers, maybe download QuickBooks and make sure everything's right. Maybe, hey, like I said, check out the free link for free 30 days in DAT load board. Check out the lanes, check out the market, see what type of freight is moving. I would honestly say go ahead and do it now. Like I said, you get free 30 days, go ahead and do it. No charge to you. Get you a fuel card before you go out there. Don't fall for one of these scams and the people who are going to call you, because right when you start your MC, tons of people are going to call you. They're going to lie and say they're from FMCSA. FMCSA probably won't call you unless there's something wrong with your application. I think with one of my businesses, I had a problem where we thought we were going to have 3 trucks. So we labeled it 3 trucks, 3 drivers, and it pushed us back about 3 to 5 business days. Try not to make that mistake. Just go for what you know you'll have, so you're not SOL. Also, if you guys want to start your authority and you're not sure if you're going to have a truck, you're still going to need commercial insurance to make it go active. And like I said, check out Daniel's information in the link below, because he can really help you out when it comes to cooking. He calls it cooking your MC authority in the process. Then you're going to need your BOC3. It's $25 to $65 depending on the state. It's just your blanket coverage when crossing state lines. I could probably show you guys a video of it, a picture of it. It's pretty simple. I believe I forgot to put the UCR. That's your carrier registration. It just basically shows how many trucks you're going to have, which most likely should be 1. And then I think that's another $65. So your insurance down payment is typically going to be from, I try to kind of like label all the prices that you're going to need in order to get into this box truck business. So your insurance down payment is going to be anywhere from $1,300 to sometimes $5,000. I see it just all depends on what type of business you're trying to get into. And I say do it 3 to 5 business days before your authority goes active. But I have seen, even Daniel has told me, you could probably just start it maybe a day or 2 before. Others say start it 2 weeks before to line up, but you don't want to be paying on insurance and you don't have your equipment just yet. Do not start your insurance as soon as you start your authority, though. That's a very big mistake. Driver's qualifications. I say you can pay $165. Like, we use MCSA compliance, and they were very helpful in getting us our driver qualification forms. But it is expensive. It's $165, I think, per driver. And you want to keep it in your truck at all times as far as DOT. There's also other paperwork. Really, all this paperwork that I'm labeling right here, you want to keep that. You want to keep your driver's license. You need a driver's application for even yourself in that truck as well. So it's a lot of things that I may have to just make more videos on, or you can do more research on besides just this video. But it's a lot of paperwork that you need in order to stay in compliance and keeping it in your truck at all times. ELD, I use Keep Trucking. Samsung was one I used in my previous business. It's usually around $35 to $50 a month for the subscription after paying for the hardware. The pallet jack, $150 to $350. It all depends if you're going to get one used or new, how high they are in demand, or if you have to order it online. So just look into that too. And a truck DOT inspection. I may make a video completely different, just about hot shot equipment and what all types of equipment you need in order to get into the business. But for right now, I'm gonna kind of keep this video catered towards box trucks, because if I did it with hot shot 2, this video will be all over the place. But don't worry, most of this chunk right here is mainly all you need to start a box truck business. And like I said, people are spending up to $1,000 for this basic general information that is kind of like free research is out there, but are you going to take it? $65. Make sure you're road ready and DOT certified for truck DOT inspection. You can also get a truck DOT inspection at Love's too. My bad, guys. Okay. Oh. My bad. Okay, so these are required information for starting the very first steps. I kind of like just broke it down even more. So like I said, you want to start the LLC. Do your articles of confederation, state specific, call Secretary of State. The EIN, like I said, was issued by the IRS. This comes with inkfile.com. Business bank account. And if you want to do a company logo, if you guys don't know, with me doing YouTube, I use something called Canva. It's just a simple thing you can download and do a lot of cool things with in order to make yourself a logo. Ink file comes with expedited filing, so your business can be created as quick as 5 business days. I believe it's actually just 5 standard days, including the weekend, but it may be business days. So, like I said, you kind of want to look into what can set you apart from others. Creating a business email address, Google Suite, SiteGround. Study your market lane, know and learn the rates in your region. Like I said, it doesn't take too much to download a free. Make sure you get Power DAT, and once you're driving, keep that subscription going, or do whatever you need to do to learn your market. Whether it's more YouTube research, whether it's stopping a trucker and saying, "Hey man, what are the rates looking like for you in the area you are?" You know what I'm saying? Create a business page on all social media platforms and try to build a following. Okay, what will you need? So you got the equipment: 26-foot box truck, 24 feet. I'm gonna be real. I say get a 26-foot. You don't want to hinder yourself in size just to pay just as much as you would for that extra 2 feet. A lot of times, the freight that is 26 feet don't be 26 feet, but they'll still order one, and you can never really know why, but that's just what they do. So make sure it has a lift gate, make sure it's dock high, and also make sure the clearance on it is at least 96 inches. If you got a 24-foot box truck, let me say this: if you got a 26-foot box truck with a 70-inch clearance at the door, you'll have less loads than a 24-foot box truck with a 96-inch clearance at the door, because the freight that is actually coming in, yeah, they're limited in the length, but you're limited in the height. So make sure you actually have clearance doors at 8 feet at 96 inches at least. Try to get a Cummins engine. That's just me. I'm a Dodge guy. Uh, Dodge Ram, and also I had an International with a Cummins engine. No problems with them so far. So, like I said, Cummins is just kind of meant to last. So, and yeah. So straps, locks, masks. If you're still watching this during the pandemic, uh, and a pallet jack. Those like basic for equipment for 26 and 24-foot, standard box truck dry vans. But, like I said, with Hot Shot, it's a completely different animal on all the type of items you need to secure and stuff like that. So, like I said, I may have to make a completely different video for that. But most of these standard steps are what you'll need to create a Hot Shot business too. So MC authority and DOT number. You need your BOC3, COI, and UCR. You're going to need an authority compliance company. You don't necessarily need one, but if you're just like, you don't have a clue about anything about trucking, it wouldn't hurt paying a $200 for them to kind of do everything for you. Just understand what you're doing. Financing company, email me with your credit score, your first name, last name. You don't have to do that anymore. It's on my website. Let me just say that. Insurance, Progressive will be your best friend for new ventures, because you're going to be looked at as a big risk and you're going to pay for that. Now, you having a clean driving record and a good credit score can change that a little bit, but for the most part, you're still going to have a pretty big policy your first couple of years of business. Like I said, I got Daniel's information down below. He helped me out. He saved me probably around $10,000 on the year, because he knows what he's doing. Factoring company, fuel card. You do not have to email me for it. The links will be down below in the description. Load board description. Download DAT. Like I said, if you guys go down below, you can get that for free. And an ELD, I don't have a link for that just yet. I may, hopefully, if you're watching this video later in the future. But for right now, like I said, I will go with Keep Trucking. It's probably the biggest one. A lot of people say they have problems with them, but like I said, it's standard. Now the key players to know, and this is just for people who are like completely like brand new, you need to know these names. Like I know you guys watch YouTubers and you hear carrier, shipper, receiver, customer, and you don't really necessarily know what it means. So you are the carrier, the owner operator. A dispatcher, I want to put as your best friend. They're your agent or representative for your company. Then you have the carrier. You are the person that they represent. My bad, I messed that up. And then three, you got the shipper, and that's usually the person, of course, that's the one putting out the freight. That's the person you're pulling up to receive the freight. And then you got the broker. I forgot to put the receivers though. So the broker is the shipper representative. I guess I kind of want you guys to see the difference between a broker and a dispatcher in this presentation. So a dispatcher is going to represent you, and a broker is going to represent the shippers. So, or the customers. So when Walmart needs a load book, Walmart may not have access to a truck. So a lot of people will probably say, why don't shippers just look for direct carriers? And it's a little harder. But see, a lot of people will kind of look at a broker and what they do, and they'll think, well, they're just taking money from the transportation industry. They're leeches, and so are dispatchers. They're 10% of your company. Why are you paying them for that? So for a broker, why you'll need a broker is simply because when you have one broker, you have access to hundreds and thousands of trucks that you wouldn't have access to without that broker. So even if you're a shipper and maybe 10 clients that live around you locally, well, they're OTR at the moment and you don't have anybody around the area to pick up your freight. If you got one broker for a small fee that they're going to take off of what they charge you, you got access to anybody in that area at that point. And it's the broker's job to be honest enough to keep us moving at a consistent rate and not getting one over on us. And now the dispatcher for a carrier, you as a carrier being brand new, you're not going to know anything about the market. So as long as that, my bad, it's ice, man. As long as that dispatcher is valuable as far as being knowledgeable as the lanes and the rates and how much they're usually paying for certain types of freight in your market, you should kind of be appreciative of that. You know what I'm saying? And they're hustling just like you're hustling. What you need to know as a carrier. So non-CDL box trucks, the max weight, including freight and fuel, is 25,999 pounds. So what I tried to say there is basically you can't weigh over 26,000 gross vehicle weight if you're going to be non-CDL and travel across state lines or in state lines. It's simply illegal. You can't do it. So most box trucks will weigh about 16 to 18,000 pounds empty with all the equipment in there, meaning you can haul from 8 to 10,000 pounds with freight of cargo on the back of your box truck. So it's your job to figure out how much freight you can actually scale by going to a DOT. Don't go through the weight station. Matter of fact, go through, Love's and get your truck weight. With my hot shot, I weighed around 15.6. So it meant I can carry around 10.4. It's basic math, but you have to actually go when you're full of diesel and DEF with all of the equipment you're going to be riding with. If you got an extra person, put them in the truck too and drive over the scale and see how much you weigh. And don't go over that weight because when you're going through weigh stations and you're flagged over, you're going to get fined. So understand how much it's going to cost you to operate, your cost per mile, and let the dispatcher know unless you plan on dispatching yourself. You'll know if the load is worth it. So if you're going to dispatch yourself, you kind of got to know. So my cost per mile is somewhere around $1.10, $1.20 as far as to like pay my expenses, but not paying myself really at all. It's just paying the business expenses. So I know where I want to be is where I'm making at least about $1 for every mile I'm running. So I try to stay around 210 to 220 for the week. So every single mile I run, I make at least $1 profit off of it, if that makes sense. So if I run 3,000 miles, I'm looking to pocket around $3,000. More basic math that you just kind of gotta look into. I'll probably make a video breaking down how to do cost per mile, but I'm already seeing this video is gonna be long as crap, so I'm not gonna include it in here. Learn which route you would prefer depending on where you stay, and see if going OTR is possible if it makes sense. So a lot of people want to get in this game and they think driving within a 200 to 500 mile radius is the way to go with a new as a new carrier, and it doesn't make sense unless you've made connections with somebody before starting the trucking industry. It's not going to work. So it's just better off to, in my opinion, I say do long haul, and nothing like, you don't have to go from Georgia to Cali, or 20. You don't have to do 3,000 miles a week like me in order to be profitable. But I think just getting yourself out there, getting your business out there, building a relationship with brokers. I think it's easier to do it when you're over the road, honestly, and you'll just make more money that way. So understanding your EOD. Um, all all operators of a commercial vehicle must abide by these rules. The general rule of thumb is that every 14 hours, the driver must rest a full 10 hours. Of those 14 hours, only 11 can be on duty or driving. You still have to take breaks in between, and you also got to take in consideration that when you're loading your truck, you're still going to be on duty, and when you're offloading your truck, you're still going to be on duty. So just try your best to maximize the most time you have a day. I would say waking up early and starting your day from 7 to 9 is going to be the most efficient, especially if you're already loaded, to get offloaded as soon as possible, because most receivers are first come, first serve. And if you're in that waiting line forever, you're going to be SOL trying to get another load around 1, 2 p.m. because all the other freight, is probably gone for the day on the spot market. So my best advice is to get loaded as soon as possible and get the truck off. Be empty as soon as possible. A lot of people think the more you're loaded, you make money, but the quicker you can get the load off is how you're going to make the most money. That's my only advice I can really put out there. Okay, why you may need dispatch in the first 90 days. Now, brokers are very picky on who they trust with their freight. And I'm also seeing this. I'm seeing some brokers where you usually need 90 days to work with them. Now it's 6 months to work with them. It may be because a lot of box trucks are flipping over, hitting bridges with their freight in it and damaging it. And they end up going bankrupt, and they don't pay for the stuff that they ended up damaging. So you coming into a game, especially those without CDL, it's hard trusting new carriers to take freight that's sometimes worth over $1 million. You got to think. I've had two generators on my truck that were together 8 feet tall and I think 8 feet long, and I had to tarp that load. And I didn't know until I dropped it off. The dude told me, like, yeah, man, these things are $150,000 a piece. So just imagine if I didn't secure that freight as well, and it would have tipped over. I'm not saying the worst will happen, but the worst can happen. So just understand brokers are picky because they know if you're coming into this game with no experience, like for the people who don't have a CDL, who just look into this game because they want something new, fun, and to make money, and they don't know the laws, they don't know about bridge clearances, they don't know where to expect bad weather, so they end up damaging that freight. Well, now that broker trusted you, and you just started your MC authority for no reason, and they're taking a higher risk on you, so they're probably going to negotiate that against you too. I don't know if I have a slide in here about negotiating, but if I don't, I'm pretty sure I'll already have a video out about it. So you can also either lease on to someone else's authority and use their matured authority, or get a dispatcher. If you need one, email me. You don't have to email me. Check the links in the description. I also have something coming up pretty soon with lease on carriers, and I think this will be a great addition. So just drop down a comment if you're interested in leasing on. If not, keep watching the video. Brokers usually won't be as picky after 6 months to a year. That's enough time to see your previous work history, your safety ratings, and make a better decision. It will be hard to dispatch yourself, but it's very possible. So I'm not all for selling a percentage of your company to somebody who can't keep you moving consistently, because that would be a waste of your time and money too. But you got to understand, if that agent is good, they're going to be grinding and hustling because their commission is based off of the work that you receive. Okay, so the importance of an authority and staying in compliance and staying active. So you got to keep your insurance paid. If not, your authority's gone and all that work you put in business you built was kind of for nothing. So your authority is your lifeline. It's also what helps, my bad, identify your score as a business. Not staying in compliance as far as taking loads that are too heavy or too long to complete within the time of your ELD can ruin your entire business. Don't let one load ruin your career. So if TQL, would they line as post a load for 11,000 pounds and you know you can't scale but 8,500, don't do it. It's just not worth it, because that's going to be the day you get pulled over. And yeah, make sure your insurance policy stays active as well in order for your authority to stay active. Knowing your rates. Where are rates best for 26-foot box trucks? The answer is simple: wherever the demand is. So there are some places you just don't want your equipment to be, but there's also no place where your equipment can't be. So box trucks would do very well in consumer states. The most well-known areas are in the Midwest. So you got Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, for examples. You also got Minnesota, Michigan, Kentucky. I even dip some parts of Tennessee in there. Um, in the Northeast, I think the Southeast is different. The only time it's a little harder is when you're out Northwest and a little bit of Southwest. But, you got really just the West in general. I would kind of stay away from, especially this time of the year. With the Northeast, it's decent money there. Not really any good rates coming out. It's mainly good rates going in because they know no one want to go to New York and New Jersey. But with that, like I said, it comes with low bridges. Why you need truck navigation? What apps can you use? Plenty of truck navigation systems in every single travel center you go to. But if you want a free one on your phone, Hammer on Google and Apple Store, probably the most, known cheap one that you can do, and it'll keep you safe. Bridges will be low and you'll never be 100% familiar or sure that a back road won't have a low bridge. So just use this navigation or buy a GPS at a truck stop. I don't know why I put buy like that. So you can be safe. Expenses you need to keep in mind. Hotel expenses, if you're looking to travel over the road, can add up over time. I have $60 to $90 a night, but that was mainly back when, that was during pandemic time. Hotel prices now are more so like $80 to $120 a night. Also, food expenses. If you're a normal person, hopefully you'll spend about $15 to $20 a day. Also, keep in mind your weekly expenses for fuel that come out on your card every single week. So on a hard week traveling, you're going to spend anywhere from $750 to $1,000 in fuel if you're traveling, a good bit of mileage. So just keep in mind all your expenses, calculate how much is coming out at the rates you've been moving, and just make it make sense for you. Don't take everybody else's advice, because everybody's doing their own thing at the end of the day. And if you get outbidded, you get outbidded. It just happens. That's the trucking industry. Everything I can offer to help you if you need extra assistance. So I have consultations, $50 for 30 minutes and $75 for an hour. Like I said, if you guys need that extra help outside of this video and you just want to just talk about your specific, like where you're stuck at on the process and your specific situation that's specific to you, how do I think you should go about it? And if you just want to talk to me about hot shot or comparison between hot shot and box trucks, I also have a video on that. But I'm just trying to make this information more available for people, because I know it can change your life. You know what I'm saying? I know it can change your life, but trucking is also not for everybody. So you got to really know if it's for you or not. For financing, you don't have to email me. Check the description. Insurance, check the description. Daniel's probably gonna be best by far the best agent I've seen. Only one I see honestly on this space, but and in this community, and he's really helpful. He got a lot of helpful videos. So if you need to do more research, I say you go to one of his videos and also watch his information. Factoring and fuel cards. Don't email me. Check the description. I have all that. I got OTR and RTS. I would say RTS because with the fuel cards, if you get the fuel card too, you'll save more money. So I would get the RTS factored in fuel card probably over OTR, but I'll make a video describing why because there's some things that each come with really no cons for either. So like I said, I would go with RTS, but because it's cheaper. Then in dispatching information, email me for a free recommendation. You don't have to email me. That send a description too. But I'm gonna just let you know that they're usually looking for carriers who are at least past 90 days to 6 months, so it's easier for them to dispatch. But yeah, a broker's list, you can check that out on my website. Okay, so now that you have your truck, so when you finally get your authority active, these are the day-to-day steps. I don't know why I said it like that, but these are the day-to-day steps. You're gonna call your dispatcher. You're gonna get your load booked. Once your load is booked, they're going to give you what is called a rate confirmation. This is basically every single thing your dispatcher discussed on the phone with them in order to get you the rate that you desired or what you dispatch yourself for. So if it's a load going 400 miles, maybe you got it for $800. And the rule of thumb for that, I would say for any load less than 200 to 300 miles, the way you should negotiate those rates, in my opinion, charge $4 a mile. Anything going more than 300 miles, charge $2 a mile. I wouldn't move for under that. Only reason why is because when you go those 200 to 300 miles and you want to come back home, then you still making $2 a mile. And if not, if you're OTR, you don't want to keep your truck moving at anything. I want to say under $2 a mile. That's the standard. But if it's $1.80, $1.90, I'm pretty sure you can make that work. Um, they'll also give you carrier instructions, including what equipment you'll need. So that should be pretty basic as long as you're doing the right things on DAT. You should know how to look for a load. But I can show you. It is a Sunday. Gotta go Illinois. What's the day? We're gonna go for Monday and Tuesday. Let's say both 26 feet. Most of you guys can scale quote unquote 10,000 pounds. So how I'm thinking about the freight that's on here. I mean, look at what these guys are doing. 4 feet, 1 feet, 4,700 pounds. This is what. Oh, this is flatbed hot shot. My bad. This is how you book a load, man. Only straight box for me, unless you want to put van lift gate, all that stuff. You're barely gonna book a load that way. So only straight box available Monday or Tuesday. 150-mile deadhead from wherever you are. I'm using Chicago for this example. And 26 feet, 10,000 pounds. Let's see what's on here on a Sunday now. So like I said, how I would negotiate is anything going more than $300. 300 miles. I would charge, $2 a mile. So you see this load for $308, $600. You can probably get him up a little bit more depending on how much they need this freight. Landstar is push and pull. I love Landstar. They're one of the carriers that will work with you with a new authority. But like I said, just choose wisely on the type of freight you're taking. But 26 feet, 7,000 pounds, that's like a standard truckload for a 26-foot box truck non-CDL. And you got to take in consideration your 33-mile deadhead with a 308 miles. So which will be around 345 miles, right? Yeah, I think so. No, heck no. 10, 343. 300, oh my bad. 341 miles with your deadhead. So if you're at 341 miles with your deadhead, what you want to do is take that 341, multiply it times 2, and you'll get around 700. So since they're already posting it for 600, they may have at least $200 to $300 more dollars into it. You could probably tell the fact that, hey, in Illinois, fuel is like $4 a gallon. So anyway, you can do 750, and that at that point, that's a pretty good load. You're gonna drop that off the next day, and you know, a lot of people say try to run for $1,000 a day, but it's honestly just not that much freight. But you got these guys, you know. What you also want to look out for is their credit score and factoring. But if you guys want a completely like rundown on dispatching, that's something that, like I said, if you need more help with, I have a video on that. But I know some people making a really good class coming together. It's going to be very affordable, maybe $150 to $200, not $1,000 to learn how to dispatch yourself. And I can promote them. But I've had some people reach out to me saying they charge like $750 for a course, and that's just not worth your time or money. But yeah, so arrive at the shipper, you back in. When you go in, give them your destination, your pickup number. Once you're loaded, you'll receive a bill of lading. It's basically the proof that you picked up the load, and you will need the bill of lading once you drop off. So you're gonna need that bill of lading, which is also your POD or proof of delivery, to show the factoring company that you actually did this load, and that rate confirmation and that POD, they go together, because this is my proof of delivery, but this is also the rate that we agreed to. And those are mainly the two things you're going to need for any factoring company. But that's about it. Like, all the other videos I have on this channel kind of go over what you're going to be doing when you're on the road. It's kind of showing my experience. But this is kind of for the brand new people who don't know what they're getting themselves into, or paying ridiculous prices for the same information. So I hope this video helped. It's your boy Intro Mike. Like I said, the best thing you can do for me is just hit the subscribe button, and that's all I need. You know what I'm saying? I don't get paid for a subscription count. You know what I'm saying? So it's just to help the channel grow. Hit the like button if you need to. Drop a comment. Let me know if it was helpful. And yeah, just let me know. If you need any other extra steps, if you guys got good video ideas, I'm trying to take more of my time and dedicate it to helping more people. So just let me know. But it's your boy out.